Liebe Freunde von Jugend Eine Welt, ich freue mich sehr, dass ich heute einen Gast vorstellen darf, einen Gast, der uns ein bisschen was aus 3 Ländern auf Afrika erzählen wird, und es ist Bruder Joseph. Bruder Joseph wird uns ein bisschen näher über sich, die Arbeit berichten, und wir werden ein paar Dinge uns anhören, wo Jugend Eine Welt seit vielen Jahren tätig ist. Welcome, Brother Joseph, to Jugend Eine Welt, to Austria. How often did you come to Austria already in the past?
Thank you very much for the welcome, for the warm welcome. This is my first time visiting Austria, visiting Vienna. So it's a quite new experience and an awesome experience, and thank you for welcoming me.
It is a pleasure for us to welcome you here at the office of Jugend Eine Welt. And please, could you introduce yourself, your person, and the countries where you are working in with the Salesians of Don Bosco?
Okay. I am Brother Joseph Nyondo, Salesianer of Don Bosco, working for ZMB Vice Province, which constitutes of 4 countries. It is Zambia, where the headquarters is, Malawi, Namibia and Zimbabwe, and I am the provincial economer and project director for ZMB Vice Province.
So these are the most important jobs for managing the province. There's the provincial, which is in charge of the general rules and about the confreres, and you are the one who is the managing director of the economical and organizational issues mainly. So this is why you became also partner of Jugend Eine Welt. We work together very close because all the project who reach Jugend Eine Welt to be checked if we are able to support them, if we find donors like you who helps us to strengthen youth work in your country. But before coming to the project, please give us some ideas. What are the biggest problems you face in these 3 countries? Problems who focus on the youth and children sector.
As Salesians of Don Bosco, of course, we are in these 4 countries trying to solve firstly the problem of youths, because we are there for the youths, and of course the children, because they are the future. They are the future. They are the leaders of tomorrow. So their plight is our concern. In our 4 countries, that is Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Namibia, what is at the core of youth at the moment is unemployment. Youth unemployment, quality education, that should lead to employment, and issues also affecting children, their rights, children's rights to education, and also the problems of abuse of children in terms of labor, where you find children start participating in the life of a family, earning bread for the family at an early stage, which disturbs also their future prospects. When we talk of children, child labor, for example, certain cases of child labor would be in the mining sector, where you find families that are staying in towns where there are mines. These children, they get involved in illegal mining, where they go to pick precious stones, and these stones are given to what we call mining tycoons, who later on sell them to big businesses internally and abroad. And this affects the young people, that it kills their future, because they stop school for the purpose of earning bread, and in the process also they are being abused, because the work that they do there is for elders, not for children. In the aspect of agriculture, most of our countries focused, or they get most of their income from agriculture, especially Malawi, where it's in they do a lot of tobacco growing as for international export. And also you find such cases of child abuse where children, they cannot go to school, instead they are working in the farms because that's how they have to survive. At the end, even though the children or the family survive, but they continue living in the same poverty because the income is so little. But where they sell to big multinational companies, it brings more profit than it is bringing to the families actually at the local level. So this is also applied to our duty to look at it. How do we empower these youths? How do we make awareness, create awareness for families, help these children and put them in school? It's our concern. Thank you.
So yesterday it was World Children Day. So if we speak about, and you mentioned some issues already, education is one big challenge in any country, even in Austria. What about education, basic education in your country? Does have all children access to quality education by Seite Don Bosco schools? What is the general situation in these 4 countries?
Education, access to quality education is a big challenge. I think that's why we are trying by all means to ensure that we try in our way possible to increase access to education for the young people. Most of our countries don't have quality basic education. Even if countries are trying to promote with the help and push of the international, the global society, that education is a right and becomes free. But even if it becomes free, but what is the quality of that education that is being offered? We have schools in most of our countries that are overcrowded. For example, agreed ratio would be one teacher, according to our standards, one teacher to 40 at most, 40 kids in class, but it's not the case. You'll find in places where we work, maybe in Malawi, let's say in Malawi, where you find that in the primary school, the children are 100 in one class.
And I saw pictures, because you sent it as pictures of classrooms where 100 children sitting on the floor. You have one teacher, so there are no books. They have some small folders where they do some writings, but it is really the infrastructure on one side and the training to the teachers on the second side. And I'm happy that we will have access to some funds together with donors, friends and the foundation to improve the situation. So to have soon at least some classrooms more in some schools. But you mentioned that is a bigger problem. What about the training to the staff people? Is this a focus on the Salesian network to teach trainers to become better trainers and to become better professors, teachers to the young people?
Yes, one of our focus areas for our province is capacity building, and capacity building is not only focusing on Salesians. We are focusing also on TVET staff, school center staff, school staff, and all lay mission partners that we work with in our various sectors of work. We know that even if we employ members of staff who have gone to school, they are qualified, but we realize a lot of there's a gap, a training gap, in order to deliver quality according to the standards that we want. So we need refresher courses. We are thinking of even partnerships where some of staff in our TVET centers that they do exchange programs, with the good schools, even in the West, in Europe. They see how things are done, and then when they come back, they are motivated and they are able to deliver better to our learners. So capacity building is at the center of initiatives or what we call focus areas.
So we will have a call later about the exchange of teachers, for example, no? As you mentioned at the moment. In your personal CV, I could find a time slot where you have been working with street children or related with street children. What is this sector specifically said about street children, children living and working in the street, not only in the working sector as we have children and young people working in the agriculture field and in the mines, yeah? But have you this phenomenon of street children still in your countries?
In all the four countries, especially the growing towns, the phenomenon of street kids is there. We have done assessments before with the PDO, especially in the major towns in Zambia and in Zimbabwe, of the phenomenon of street kids, and it's rampant. When I was in Chingola, in one of the towns where I worked for 8 years, we started a program for street children living and working on the streets because of vulnerability of the children. It's not all of them that sleep on the streets. So that's why there are two categories. There are some who sleep and work there, so all their life is on the streets. Then there are some who, because of vulnerability of the families, they cannot stay in the families, broken families, poor families. They sleep in their families. Maybe they stay with their grandparents, the children, the parents are far or they are dead, and then they stay with the grandparents, but they stop going to school. So they just sleep at home. In the morning they are on the streets. Okay, so they will be there until late, or during the day they go back. So now we realize that the phenomenon was growing, also disturbing the peace of the city, and we realized that we have to do something. We didn't have a children's home where we can rehabilitate them. So we started a program where every Saturday, because we have also other activities, we have a school, a technical school, every day from Monday to Friday. So we dedicated a Saturday to bring them from the streets, bring them to our center, educate them some values, some arithmetic, basic arithmetic, then give them a place where they can wash and give them food, and then later in the day release them. So that in that place it has continued like that for almost 5 years, which has made us to reflect and see we need to do further, to do more than this for this center, that we have to start thinking of having a rehabilitation center in that place of the Copper Belt province, where poverty is increasing, children are coming more on the streets because mines are not being run well now. So copper resources has gone down, so families are poor and they're failing to take care of their children, and most of them are ending up on the streets. So that is the aspect of street kids. But we have another town in Zambia, Kabwe, where now we have a street kid project rehabilitation center. Yeah, we're about 80 of boys from the streets are in this rehabilitation center, and there is a school inside from primary up to skills. Even though it's in the development, it's a skills registered under the government, but it doesn't have much equipment to say it's a skills training center. But the initiatives are these kids are educated there, rehabilitated there, given the skills for life. When they go out, they're able to settle well in the society. And in the process, there's also a reintegration program that they need to learn how to live in a society. So they don't live in our place from the time they enter until they exit. During holidays, they are taken back. We identify families, even distant families, close families whom they ran away from, go and reintegrate them, talk to the family. They stay even a week, even 2 weeks, and then bring them back. So in that way, they are slowly getting back into the family atmosphere. If they are real orphans, they don't have anything, they're always good people who can say, no, we can adopt them, bring them, let them stay with us for a week or 2 weeks, so that they learn to live in a normal family. Yes.
So you follow the footsteps of Don Bosco, who was the patron of the children and the street children especially. And it sounds really great, and I'm very thankful to you and all your people doing this important job. You mentioned skills, also professional skills training centers. So you have schools, you have street children programs, and you have these technical training centers. We have 2 projects we financed in the past and we are ongoing. One is computer skills and another one is solar energy.
Yes.
Perhaps you could explain a little bit about these 2 programs you run in your countries.
Okay. The computer skills and the solar energy or renewable energy skills, they are still running. That we are financed in one of our biggest colleges that we have in Malawi. ICT is our strength in that college, and thanks to your donation, to your help, to your support, it still continues running. They have accredited to bigger examination board internationally. We have success stories of young people who have passed through program, who are doing well in the society in Malawi. Some they even come to Zambia to across the border to look for jobs, and they really prove that they went through good ICT education. The solar, which has even become, it was there to mitigate, of course, mitigate the impact of climate change, but has even become one of the core training components of TVET in electricity. So it's still running. They are training in solar, but again, it is also helping a lot because in that part of Africa there's a lot of power cuts, electricity. So it helps that the whole part of the labs, the labs administration is powered by solar, which helps the school to run continuously without interruptions and without any problem. So that is a plus for us, and would need such corporations, especially in this time of climate crisis, to continue, even in other parts, to be replicated in other parts of our centers. Thank you.
Thank you very much to you, and to come to an end, what are the challenges you face at the moment for the next 1-2 years? What is in your focus on the PDO, on the project development office, to maintain all these works in education and training sector?
Okay. Our focus from the PDO for the next actually 4 to 5 years, we have given ourselves a challenge of looking at first of all education generally, that how do we improve access, to our existing vocational schools, how do we improve on quality, on quality, so that young people who are coming to our centers, they go out with prospects of a bright future. Yeah. So with that, we are intending to look at our individual schools, vocational schools, see what are their weaknesses in terms of delivering quality education, and also what are the challenges our young people are facing after they come out of this school in terms of employability. Are they getting jobs? Are they creating jobs? Because now the more focus in Africa is how to create jobs, because we cannot depend on the government to give all the jobs. Already they are strained, they don't have enough resources, and everyone is depending on the government. So we find that we train them, if we don't think with them on how they can create employment, then we train them and we leave them again on the streets. Yes. So that's our focus. How do we improve our quality of education, and how do we help young people that they transition from school to work environment, and especially focusing on self-employment. That is key for us. We are also looking at inclusiveness. It's one of our focus areas, inclusiveness for the next 4 to 5 years. Under inclusiveness, we are trying to see how do we look at the plight of street children, as we talked about the street children. How do we look at the plight of women, women empowerment? We have some experience of women economic empowerment projects, where we know when we empower a woman, we empower at least a bigger family. And even these children who are running to the streets, some of them are coming from these women who are neglected, and they are not able to take care of the children. So if we empower certain women through businesses, entrepreneurship, training, we'll be able also to answer partly to the problem of street kids and children's rights. Issues of farmer support. It's talking about families, it's supporting farmers. Look, these are small scale farmers. Okay, issues of how do we try to intervene or to bring in the aspect of the disabled in Tibet. No, we're trying to reflect together with the communities, our schools. How do we bring in the differently abled in Tibet and empower them? So this is our focus under inclusiveness. And then,
but you have a lot of aims to reach, and the challenges are big in all the 4 countries. Jugend Eine Welt is trying to help and to support and to network where it is possible. And you know, here in the office you will find people working just to support programs and projects like you. But it's also true, our work could not be done without the help of our donors, foundations, governmental support. So I would like to ask you to give some words to our supporters, because without them we would not be able to support you and to strengthen the work being done in your country. So what would be your message to our friends, donors and supporters?
What my message would be, the magic word. The first magic word is thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much for the cooperation. As they say, man is not an island, and will never be where we are without the support of partners, good partners like you. And especially in our areas, developing countries, we still need cooperation, strategic cooperation, sustainable cooperations, which you are offering. And for that, thank you for all your time, your dedicated efforts to make a better world for the children who are the future of tomorrow.
Brother Joseph, thank you very much for your presence and the exchange. Und ich möchte mich noch einmal bei Ihnen allen bedanken, liebe Freunde und Förderer von Jugend Eine Welt, weil es sind genau Partner wie hier, wie der Bruder Joseph uns erklärt hat, seine Arbeit, was sie dort machen. Und so gibt es ähnliche Partner von Jugend Eine Welt in ganz Afrika, in Asien, Lateinamerika, Südosteuropa. Und Ihre Unterstützung, Ihre Mitarbeit, Ihr Engagement macht es möglich, dass wir diese Arbeit unterstützen können. Von daher auch von meiner Seite ein großes Vergelt's Gott und bis bald. Alles Gute. Dankeschön.